Good day once again, everyone, and welcome to the GoUTSA.com Brooks Thompson Show with special guest today, Robert Guster, one of UTSA's assistant coaches. It's Texas State week this week as the Roadrunners will take on the Bobcats coming up on Wednesday night. More on that in just a moment. I'm Andy Everett, and we'll sit here and talk with Robert for a little while. And obviously the team is struggling wins and loss-wise, but there's some things here and there that are good for this team, and you got to capitalize more on those, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, I thought our young guys are really competing at a high level. AJ, I thought, really came out of his shell last night. But at the end of the day, we've got to figure out a way that we could be more successful defensively. I mean, everybody right now is shooting in the upper 40 percentile against us and scoring 90 points. And quite frankly, I feel like when we score 85 or 88 points in some of our losses, we should win. And we're just not defending well enough or at a high enough level. And I think our youth is definitely shown early in the season with not having enough grit to be a better defensive team. The only thing I know to do is to keep knocking them and keep preparing and trying to make them tougher.
From the very beginning this year, there was some concern about how well you would score the basketball, and you thought you would be a better defensive team, but the roles have kind of been reversed. Any idea why?
Oh, I think obviously losing a couple of guys has changed that from a standpoint. Phillip obviously is our best athlete. He would give us a chance to protect the rim to some extent. And I think just having Christian would add depth on the perimeter. I just don't think it's really been a desire from our team standpoint to be grittier and tougher and figure out how important it is to be a good defensive team. And frankly, if we don't change that, it's going to be a long year. And hopefully, if we just continue to communicate about it and show them to them, we're trying to do a better job of showing them the laps on film and trying to continue to make it tough in practice, and hopefully it'll pay out soon.
I know from talking with Brooks in a couple of post-game shows, he's talked about if we defend better, we'll even score more, and we'll have a better shooting percentage because you can score out of that defense. And when you're able to show players that, they kind of want to play defense a little bit more, don't they?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we hadn't shown that that's the case so far, but I do think that our guys care. Which is the main concern. You could see some hurt in their eyes, which, in my opinion, last night was the first time I've seen that. I still feel good. I definitely expect to win Wednesday. I'll be very frank about that. I expect to come out and play one of our best games of the year, and obviously when you're playing a rivalry game like that, that could be medicine.
AJ Cockrell, you talked about him earlier in our interview here, and he's really starting to show signs of development. And for a young guy, he's got some special moves in the post.
Yeah, he's going to be special. I mean, he's first and foremost, he's a great person, a great kid, and he needs the guard. He's definitely one of our problems defensively, but I do think from an offensive standpoint, he can do some things around the rim that are hard to get. He's wide, and he can seal in the post, and he can really score with his back to the basket. So I think he's going to be a special dude. Obviously, a kid that's going to be special for UTSA for the next 3.5 years, and especially if he can figure out how important it is on the other end.
And how do you do that? Because young guys like him, I'm sure in high school he could just sit back there in the paint and block everything that comes his way. But when he's playing guys at this level that are just as big or bigger than him, he's got to do things with his feet that maybe he's never done before.
Well, he won in high school. He had a great coach, but I do think that you can tell in watching him early in the year, he was a center. And what he wants to do is he wants to be a magnet to just stand under the rim. And so when we're asking him to hedge ball screens and keep a perimeter guy in front, it's foreign to him. So I just think repetition and continuing to work, as long as he keeps his personality and tries each day to get better at it, eventually it'll click for him.
Ryan Bowie's having a terrific year. He's scoring the basketball for you, and I've mentioned this 100 times already. He's doing it efficiently. Rarely is he taking a bad shot, and he's getting to the line and hitting his free throws.
Yeah, he's a very good offensive player, and obviously coming in the door, I knew he would be able to catch and shoot it, and he was special at that even last year with some other guys that were able to score. But this year I think he's done a great job of being able to create his own to some extent, 1 or 2 dribbles, pull-ups, and he's got a special kind of a step back move that he uses to create his own shot. So he's a very prolific scorer. I mean, he's probably as good as anyone in Conference USA at being able to get baskets, and he's a great free throw shooter. He's a great kid. Another guy that's a special person, and boy, I would like for it to be going a little bit better for him. Being a senior. So hopefully, I think there's 24, 25 left. I know for a fact, I spoke to him on the phone last night, 30 minutes after the game, and he cares more than anybody. And, hopefully we can get this thing turned around so he can have a special season leaving.
Texas State's a rivalry game, another big rivalry week this week. What do you know about the Bobcats? How good are they?
Very good defensively. I mess with Coach Casper. I really respect him as a coach. I joke around with him all the time when I see him on the road about him being the dream team's defensive coordinator. And ironically, he called me a couple weeks ago and said he got a call to help Coach Pop, coach defense for the dream team or the Olympic team. So he's very, very, very good coach. I think they're really, really good inside, which scares me to death because we're not defensively inside. We'll try to do a couple of wrinkles to try to throw at them that we hadn't done thus far. Hopefully it'll catch them off balance, but they're a very good team. I mean, the one thing they do is they have a lot of guys returning. That's been through the program, and so it'll be a tough game, but hopefully we can understand how much this game means, and that's all I'm going to be talking about for the next 72 hours to try to let them know that we've struggled without any question, but when you can go in that place and win, like I said, it could be your medicine.
Yeah, and a big month in December, too, because you got Texas after that, you got finals, and you've got some winnable games to give you some momentum going into conference play in January.
Yeah, it's a long season, man, and us being so young, that's really what we're trying to implement. Obviously, we're not happy with where we are, and we're not content by any stretch of the imagination in being in ball games and coming up short. We've got to figure out a way to improve from that aspect, but it's a long season. Hopefully our guys are staying positive. They've been coming to work every day. Hopefully we can get some guys back here down the stretch and really make a run at it.
Thanks so much. Have a great game Wednesday, and get everybody ready for Texas after that.
Appreciate it very much, Andy.
Right.
Thank you.
That's Robert Guster with us on our podcast today. UTSA takes on Texas State Wednesday night, 6:30 from Strahan Coliseum in San Marcos. We'll have the radio broadcast for you starting at 6:30 on Ticket 760. That'll do it for today's podcast at GoUTSA.com. Good day once again, everyone, and welcome to another UTSA podcast here at GoUTSA.com. I'm Andy Everett, and we're going to sit down and visit with A.J. Cockrell today, one of the newcomers for this UTSA basketball team. And you're off to a pretty good start with some good offensive numbers. Talk about your game and how you're feeling being a Roadrunner this year.
It was great being a Roadrunner this year, and I feel like I played great yesterday. My team just got me the ball. I was able to produce and come off the bench and put up some good numbers. But yeah,
when you look at offensive players, and it's unusual a lot of times for young players to have the post moves that you do. Where'd you learn those moves and not put the ball on the floor and go up strong? Talk about that development before you got here.
Well, my high school coaches, we really worked with me a lot. Bobby Allison, Coach West, and Coach Draper really worked with me a lot on my footwork and keeping the ball high when I catch the ball in the post. Just standing around the rim, shooting short jumpers, just working on touch. Being physical down low, it really worked with me a lot on that.
And obviously the one thing that you got to work on at this level is playing defense. A lot harder to do that here than it is in high school, isn't it?
Well, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. College is no joke when it comes to defense.
What is the difference, and how do you have to play differently? I would imagine in high school you're bigger than everybody else, so you can use that size advantage.
Well, college is a faster game, a lot bigger, stronger physical guys down low. Keeping stamina is a big thing in playing college basketball. Just being physical and tough down low is just a big change.
In the games against Creighton and Clemson, you saw Power 5 conference basketball, and the speed of the game was lightning fast. That takes some adjusting to, doesn't it?
It takes a lot of adjusting. Came in the game, I'm new, so it's just a big difference. You're used to playing against guys that are maybe 6'5", 6'6", and posting, you're able to just to move them around, but then you play a guy that's 6'10", solid, a true athlete, and it's way different. It's different.
Hard to move those guys off the block.
It is.
All right, this team is struggling a little bit, wins and losses, but you're playing really well in spurts. There's a 5-minute spurt here, a 10-minute spurt there that you're playing great, and on the other end, there's a 3 or 4-minute spurt where you don't play so well, and that's costing you games. How do you fix that?
Practice, repetition, is trying to get better. We're a young team right now, so we're still trying to learn how to finish out a game, close out games. So it's just a learning process. We'll continue to get better, work hard, keep our effort levels high, and just got to keep working.
When you played 6 games basically over about a 12-day span with the tournament and then coming back home and playing Permian Basin, not a lot of time to practice, and that's important for a young team, isn't it?
It is. We definitely wish we could have had those days of practice, but the team was a great team we played against. They fought hard, we fought hard. They just wanted it more. It was just effort plays. I feel like we ran what we needed to do. We ran our plays and all that, but it was just effort. If we would have gave a little more effort, we would have won that game.
All right, let's talk about you becoming a Roadrunner. The Roadrunners, Brooks Thompson and the coaching staff started recruiting you last summer and into your senior year. Talk about why you chose to come here and what you like about it so far.
Coach Guster was on me heavy. He would call me daily. He come watch us practice, comes to our games. He just impacted me a lot. We got haircuts together. He's just a really close friend. We got that friendship. Me, Coach T, got really close with each other. It was just that bond. And I feel like UTSA is a family. We may not be winning games, but it's a family-oriented place. You can just sense it when you walk into the building. And I just felt like this is the place for me. I can do something here,
When you came on your visit, was there something that you said, yeah, I gotta come here. This is the place for me?
Well, we went to Coach T's house for like a team meal, and we just all sat there and just talked. The bond was there. Everybody was just having a good time eating together, and I was just like, this is great. Everybody together, and everybody loves each other. We're one team, one love. So, I just felt like it was comfortable.
When you were recruited, there wasn't a lot of teams that were in on you early, but I guess as your senior year went along, there was some teams that wished they had done that, and then you had a great high school all-star game. Did others come late and try to pry you away from UTSA?
There was some schools, but I was they all kind of knew that UTSA was my school I wanted to go to, so they really weren't trying to really get at me like that.
The Tulsa, Oklahoma area, not a lot of people know this, but there's some pretty good high school basketball in that area, and a lot of tradition there, isn't there?
It's a lot of tradition. Tulsa Memorial. Every year, almost every other year, we're going to state. We're doing something good with our school. We're keeping the tradition going this year with some great athletes and some great new talent there. So, it's tradition. Tradition is key in Oklahoma.
You got a handful of games here in December, getting ready for the conference season. What are you trying to accomplish in these next few games before Conference USA play gets going, other than obviously winning? How do you get this team in a place where they can be competitive in Conference USA?
We just got to keep working hard. We got to practice needs to get more intense. Our efforts level, we got to bring our effort up. We got to stay confident, and our players need to gain more confidence when we play. We're a young team, so we just got to keep playing hard and just bring it.
Having fun in San Antonio?
I'm loving San Antonio. It's great.
That's A.J. Cockrell with us on GoUTSA.com, our podcast today. Roadrunners in action this week. They'll take on Texas State Wednesday night. We'll have the broadcast 6:30 on Ticket 760. That'll do it for this edition of the GoUTSA.com podcast.